Refreshing sounds.
All right, welcome to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and friends. Today is Wednesday, June the 14th, 2017. Sorry that we don't have an intro, but, you know, we're still here in the studio. I'm here with Donnell, Lattimore,
Hey.
and Mr. Chris Hawkins.
How you doing?
Minus the blonde hair. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, that's correct. I lost the blonde hair.
What happened? What happened?
Well, Goldilocks had to go, so I'm doing a TV series called Motion Man.
Right.
You should check it out. We're on Facebook, but yeah, my character normally has short brown hair, so I'm going back to my natural roots.
Oh, okay. So how you guys been? Starting the summer off. I see you guys post on Facebook. You're on the beach, shirts off, and in character. What's been going on with you guys since last time you were here?
Oh, go ahead.
No, like it's been great. We've done a couple of photo shoots for a couple of local photographers. We've been filming. His show is actually The Associates Jab, and he plays Red Mask. My show is actually Titan Genesis, which like all these shows interconnect with Motion Man.
Mm-hmm.
And my character is Jace Walker. I do sorcery. I'm a half Migan, which is this alien race of sorcerers, and my mom's a witch. I'm an alcoholic.
Oh.
Because like I'm a half breed, so like I'm not really accepted by anybody, so I'm kind of a loner. And my character is actually friends with his character Red Mask, and I actually make guest appearances on his show The Associates. So aside from that, we do shows for Showbride, like fashion shows, and we do social media for them. We actually have an upcoming show on the 25th at the Magruder Center in Williamsburg.
What is it? That's a bridal show?
It is. So we'll be actually modeling, walking the runway, work. I'm just fucking with you. Messing with you. I can't say that so bad. So we're doing that. And yeah, that's more or less it. Aside from Motion Man, fashion shows, and all that fun stuff.
TV series.
And TV, yeah, it's TV. It's a web series actually. And I
saw you doing something with a girl. You said you were.
Yes, I was getting ready to tell you that.
Okay.
It's called SA2K. It's more or less kind of the behind the scenes of the Spectacular Inc. universe. We go kind of behind the scenes and we give you a background information on Motion Man and the Associates and Titan Genesis. Kind of give you a background about all the characters and what they do, their powers, and what's going on with the actual website as far as updates and character information.
Yeah, my favorite thing is just to stand behind the camera and just glare at them.
And glare at 'em?
Yeah.
He tries to make us break character, but it doesn't happen that often.
Take number what? What was it? 9?
Like 3.
Three?
Well, dude's phone rang that one
kinda-
time with the comic
a little
thing.
bit higher than that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But things have been good. Things
I
have
know
been
you can't
good.
hold your face around it, that's all.
That was that one time. We did a murder mystery party, he and I. Shout out to Who's Clues Anyway. And like I played his older brother, or his older half brother. And I thought that I murdered him because our father was rich and he left me with nothing and he left him with everything. So I attend this masquerade ball to kill him.
Oh.
And yeah. And we have to talk like this with British accents and all that. So we had to practice. We actually went to Olive Garden, actually. We went to Olive Garden. And
In costume?
No. Like we went like as ourselves, but we talked in our accents. We were practicing.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like the waitress was like, "So where are you guys from?" And like, "Yeah, I'm from London, just that whatever." And he was talking with a Russian accent actually, but it was a lot of fun. And it was cool. We're going to do it again in October. I'm not sure the scope of what the actual murder mystery is going to be, but we will definitely be there.
All right.
So yeah, the whole acting, modeling thing, it's cool to have a nice face that people like.
Okay. All right.
What's new with you, Will?
I'm just
Congratulations for graduating.
Thank you. Graduating. Start grad school in September.
Really? For what?
It is learning, design, and technology. Basically, you know how Blackboard is
No.
for online school? You don't know what Blackboard is?
No.
I will be the
Blackboard
one
means
who.
chalk to me. I see blackboard and chalk. But go
Okay,
ahead.
well, like for people who do online learning, or perhaps like in school now they have technology where they're doing a lot of advanced technological learning. I'll be
Okay.
the person who will help create, build, and develop and implement those type learning systems. So it works with my communications degree.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, but okay. Not sure what it is, but we're gonna move on to our topics because we're a little bit behind.
It was red, so I was.
Yeah,
I
I appreciate that. It's gonna keep coming. Okay, so first thing is, did you guys see the picture I had posted of the lady? It was she had the bathing suit on. I know you had posted something about bathing suits as well, but it was all over the internet. She's a plus size lady. Let me read what she said. She posted a picture of her and her husband of 6 years, and he, just by his genes, he was born pretty much ripped, so he doesn't really have to do a lot to maintain his physique. Whereas she, on the other hand, she was visibly, she was overweight. She said she struggled for years to embrace her larger frame, and she said over the years, this man has loved every curve, every roll, and every stretch mark on my body, she wrote on Instagram. I never understood why. How could he love something that isn't perfect? How could a man who was born fit love someone like me? So my question I wanted to ask you guys, because I've dealt with this. Do you guys fat shame? Because both of y'all are in shape. I saw your pictures on the beach. Do y'all fat shame? And could you date someone who was not in shape or who was perhaps overweight?
I personally do not fat shame.
That
I personally don't fat shame because I know that will affect a lot of people's insecurities. And I'm all about making, everybody happy. Granted, you can't make everybody happy. So it's one of those two halves make a whole kind of situation.
I'll take the shallow approach. No, I do not fat shame. However, it's more or less like if you feel insecure about your body and you can actually make some type of positive change to make your body better, then that's on you. Like you can't, if it's one thing if you can't because of medical reasons, but if you're just sitting on the couch, eating bonbons or, eating potato chips or whatever the case may be, and you don't want to make positive change to make yourself be, more fit, eat healthier, et cetera, or what have you, then that's on you. Like, there's lots of people that, can't change their body type or, the genetic makeup for whatever reason, and, they can't. But, like, for people that can, shame on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just sitting there resting on your laurels, and you expect people to be like, oh, no, I feel sorry for you, but no, I have no sympathy. However, people like what they like. People have, their tastes and, what they're attracted to. Some people might be attracted to bigger people. That's just what they're into. You know what I mean? So, as long as you're happy, that's honestly all that matters. If you're happy being big, great. I'm happy for you. But, like, you can't complain.
But you're saying you wouldn't talk just to cut through all that.
For me.
You're spilling.
Will. No, I would not.
Okay.
I'm not fat shaming you, but just, like, big to me.
Sounds like a fat shame. I'm not sure, but
it's not.
Pretty much.
Honestly, I take that. Okay. I have lots of bigger friends that I love. Like, I love you for you.
Okay.
But, like, for me, like, if I'm going to date you, there's a difference. Like, there are certain mechanics of things that have to happen. And if you're that much bigger than me, they can't happen. That's just what it is.
I don't get it. We're not talking morbidly obese.
No, well, I'm not that big. I'm just saying, like, if you're bigger than me, certain stuff has to happen, and I don't want to lift said fat roll or wrinkle or whatever to find what I need to find. I'm just saying, that's just me. I can't do that. I can't say that. I can't say it. Okay.
Do you think you can motivate them?
Yes, I can. Like, again, if you want to change yourself, just like hanging out with you, you're way fitter than I am. So I'm like, I can't be.
I hope people not waiting for you outside after the show, man.
I know, right? No, I'm just saying, like, you have the ability and the control to control yourself. Put it that way. If you want to, that's all I'm saying. If you want to date somebody that, like, okay, if you're insecure about your body and you can positively change your body, then do that. Don't sit back and complain and feel like people are looking at you sideways because you're a certain way when you can change how you look if you want to. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying.
If you can't, there's somebody out there for everyone. Period.
You've given me a whole bunch of points, a whole bunch of different viewpoints.
Thank you. I'm just saying, like, people like what they like. People have their preferences. So, like, just
but
like,
you personally, you wouldn't talk to anybody big.
Not that big. But you can be bigger than me.
So
but, like, there's a lot of work that I'm not going to do.
Then what's too big?
Too big for me?
Well, what do you do? Okay, let's flip the script. Suppose some people say that you're too small. They want something they can hold on to.
Again, that goes back to me saying people have their preferences. You're attracted to what you're attracted to.
Right.
So it would even get to that point if I'm not what you want and you're not what I want. Like, we
why
wouldn't even
go
get
there?
there. Granted, I might be hit up, or you might be hit up, or you might be hit up by somebody that might be too big for you. And they're just kind of like, okay, well, what's wrong? You know, blah, blah, blah. They might think you're shallow. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have preferences. It's a thing. It really is. That doesn't mean that you're fat shaming or you're talking down to them. You know, you like what you like. And if they're too big for what you like, that's just, or they might be too small for what you like. That's just what it is.
You know what? I would be interested in hearing what people have to say about the question in general, and then about what you just said about that wealth of information that you just said, Mr. Lattimore. You can call us at 757-683-4405. What is something that you want to talk about before these ladies start calling in and letting you have it?
I'm like Chris. I'm gonna defer to Chris over here because
Chris, what do you have?
Of posts.
Well, I have during bathing suit season. I know a lot of people have insecurities about going out to the beach. What they should wear, what they shouldn't wear. And my question is that do you concern yourself with how you look depending on your size?
Of course.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you're a big person, would you wear a two-piece or a one-piece? Because a lot of people think that they can get away with
honestly,
two-pieces.
I'm gonna defer to Monique,
coat.
the comedian. And honestly, like she was
three
very comfortable with her size before she lost more weight. But I'm just saying, like, if you're comfortable with how you look, then you're comfortable with how you look, and you might not necessarily care what other people might think of you because you're comfortable with how you look. So let's say you're big and you want to wear a two-piece. Hey, you feel good about yourself, so you know what I'm saying? You might get fat shamed. Will you know what I'm saying for wearing the two-piece, having an extra roll or three, but like, I mean, as long as you feel comfortable with how you look, then yes. However, going back to your point, then I do believe everyone has some type of insecurity, and like bathing suit season, wearing less clothes than you would normally wear. Of course, there's tan lines that people feel insecure about. What do you think in reference to your own question?
Well, I think it's along the whole preferences that we just talked about. You can pretty much. My microphone?
Will it turn that little thing?
Right.
You said a little knob, that silver knob.
I do not.
Right.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Does that adjust? But you were saying what?
But along with the whole, did I do that right? The preferences thing. I mean, sometimes it just takes, as far as insecurity-wise, motivation to be able to walk out the house and wear what you want to wear. Granted, sometimes depending on what you wear, you could motivate other people to express themselves how they want and go against their own insecurities. But that's just
like, okay, for instance, somebody might not have rock hard abs, but they're comfortable walking around with no shirt on with a pot belly, or they're walking around, super skinny. They're comfortable with how they look. That's my point. Like, not like, okay, like society kind of brands, what's good or what's fit or what's, acceptable or what's, attractive or whatever. But again, people have their own preferences.
True.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to walk around in your, two-piece, three-piece, one-piece, hey, it's hot outside. And especially if you're bigger and you're carrying around extra insulation, you're going to get hotter faster than somebody who's not.
But you know what I think? I think you can tell when somebody they just really do not care about how they look, and then you can tell somebody who is comfortable in their own skin. And to me, the lady that was on the picture that we were referring to, she just looked like she was comfortable in her own skin.
And she's married. Her husband is happy with her. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't...
Either whether she was married or not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It is.
No,
it
it's
is.
not. It's
It is.
not.
It is. And I'll tell you why.
That's somebody who's dependent on someone. No, you hold on.
Negative. No, whoa. She's married. She has someone who loves her for who...
makes no difference on another person. No, it does not.
Then I tell you I was going to tell you why? Because I'm going to tell you why.
Because quickly do that.
Thank you. So, if she was by herself and she was single, she would be more insecure because she's going to think that no one is going to want her the way that she is.
That's if she's not secure in her own skin.
That doesn't matter.
I know a lot of plus-size people who are comfortable.
You can be comfortable with yourself, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be with somebody because you feel good about yourself. Doesn't mean that somebody's going to go out of the way to want to be with you. That's two totally different things. I can be confident in myself.
So you're saying nobody would want
I
something
didn't
like
say that. That's not
Sounds
what
like
I said.
what you said.
That's not what I said. I said you can be comfortable in your skin. That doesn't necessarily mean that anyone is going to go out of their way to try to be with you. That goes back to my whole preferences thing. I'm not saying that nobody will, because there's somebody for everybody.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean,
what I'm
I've
saying.
seen people like guys in the country like thick women.
And what
They
country
don't
you talking about?
In North Carolina.
Okay.
I mean, they were like, I like a thick woman.
Yeah, you like skin. You get how
Yeah,
meat
they
on your
like
bones.
that. So they would prefer the woman versus the New York model. They
Okay.
wouldn't be attracted to that. So that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it could also be along the lines of. It could also be along the lines of, you know, feeling. Are you like playing with my mic?
Shut.
But
I almost did it.
Anyways, like I was saying, basically you can be comfortable in your own skin, but it's also versus the fact of what other people think about you.
Do you care what other people think?
Of course I care what other people think.
Why?
Because, I mean, granted, I do feel comfortable in my own skin, but, you know, sometimes it's not a choice. Sometimes
Why
it's
isn't
just
it?
a natural.
Everything's a choice.
Not everything.
Everything is a choice.
Let's stay
Going
on
circles
that.
around.
Well, other than the weight, then, other than that, or other than the physical appearance, what are some other qualities that you look for then? So if you're gonna allow their outer appearance, their shell, to maybe block
I mean,
them if it's
granted,
a
a
little
huge
thick.
factor is mainly personality.
Yeah, personality.
This is him personally, right?
Huh?
That's him personally.
What do you mean?
But you're talking about personality, because physical appearance definitely plays a huge factor. You got to get past how they look before you get to the personality.
I say
period.
it's about 51
negative
about how you look,
Oh,
and 49
no.
about
Don't be
personality.
naive.
Come
Don't
on,
be
son.
naive. No, bro. No. Negative.
Yes. Well, you know what? Our first guest is on the line. Miss Rosalinda Randall. Actually, she was supposed to be on the show a couple of months ago. We had to reschedule her. I've been looking forward to having her on here. I've watched quite a few of her videos on YouTube and some other media interviews that she had. And she's a social skills and civility expert. She's also a speaker, a trainer, and a media source, and an author. She wrote the book, what was the book that we're going to talk about? Don't burp in the boardroom.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
But she's going to talk to us tonight, actually, on a couple of subjects. I was looking through, like I said, a couple of her interviews, and I have a few questions of my own that I want to ask her. So we're going to welcome to the show, without any further ado, Miss Rosalinda Randall. How are you, ma'am?
Forward to talking to all of you.
Hello?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Hi. Sorry we're having some technical difficulties in the studio tonight, but glad to have you on the show. Welcome to Let's Face It with Will Strayhorn and Friends. We're in the studio. We have Mr. Donnell, who will be interviewing you, and also Mr. Chris Hawkins.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
That's good to hear.
Okay,
Can't
so
wait.
the first question I want to ask you, so opening the door, like in the workplace, opening the door, pulling out the chair for a woman, giving her a compliment, what is there an underlying meaning, or is there a message behind those acts that are considered gentlemanly?
Well, you're risking that there may be on her behalf. You have to consider, is she interested in you, and this is kind of giving her a little opening the door where she thinks that there might be something else going on. Opening the door and doing things like that can be nice in the workplace. I've known some men who say, well, that's how my mama raised me, I'm not going to stop. That's cool, whatever you want to do. However, you may get the woman who prefers not to be assisted, with her chair or her coat or anything, and she may be, smart, kind of a smarty, and to just keep it polite, and respond to you and just go, I can get it myself, which I have told women, you are being more rude than the gentleman who's, like, for example, opening the door for you.
Right.
It really comes down to attitude, and I think a confident woman, and this is my opinion, a confident woman doesn't allow these little niceties to dictate who she is. And there's some women who take it as though, I'm helpless, that the man is trying to make her, put her in her place and make her helpless and in a lower standing position.
Right.
And you mentioned the compliment. That is really, really tricky. That's very different than helping someone with their chair. It depends on how you say it. I mean, if you got, like, you're staring up and down and leaning back and just going, oh, baby, you're looking good today, you might have a little a little problem. But if you just comment, you're looking nice today, or that color suits you, something in general, that's fine. And then also consider the relationship. If you work with someone all the time and you share, personal stories, or, oh, I took my kids here, or we went to the club, and you have that familiarity, and you want to give them a compliment, I'd probably do it privately, because you never know, the busybodies that are overhearing it may, start spreading rumors and stuff.
True.
I agree, Rosalinda. And I think, honestly, like, perception in the workplace is everything. Because you could work with a female and she might be attractive, and, the coworkers might think that there's something going on with you and her, and it's, like, strictly platonic. I'm Donnell, by the way. My question is, how can a woman handle a gentlemanly act when she's not down to, engage with it?
Accept it and say thank you.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey, you're welcome.
that's the gracious professional thing to do. If you're going to make a big, say we enter a meeting and you pull out my chair, what am I going to just stand there and just, put my hand on my hip and just go, what are you doing? I could, but how does that make me look? So anytime a gentleman does anything or gives me a compliment, I just kind of in my head go, wow, I still got it. I'll take it. So a simple thank you will do. And it's the same if a woman holds the door open for you. In the workplace, it really is supposed to be more of a gender-neutral thing, and it does vary, according to what part of the country also you're in. People are more open and expect that even, whereas I know I'm on the West Coast, and that's just a huge no-no, of the gentlemanly acts in the workplace.
Oh, okay.
Did that answer your question? Sorry.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Hawkins, and I just wanted to know, what are some of the common communication differences between the sexes?
Oh, my. Initially, and again, ladies may get a little, peeved at me, but I'm just telling it like it is and where I stand. We tend to, and I've been working on this for years, and I'm finally getting better, we tend to, I call it like sprinkle little fairy dust around our conversations. Hi, how are you? How's the kid? We have to do the niceties, whereas in business, gentlemen tend to just get to the point. I mean, not that they don't say, hey, how's it going, or have a good weekend. Okay, and we're done. It's more of a courtesy opening line. We really don't care. We got to get business done. And that's the one big difference that I've noticed, that women tend to get a little more personal, because that is how they connect with someone and figure someone out, and do they trust them, and are we going to get along? There is so much more, whereas males tend to, do you look like you're trustworthy? Are you going to keep your word? Can you deliver what I need to deliver? Yeah, okay, I don't care how many kids you have or what your favorite shopping mall is, So those are the basic ones. And additionally, when we want to say no, that's a huge thing, or we're not interested in someone. Men tend to say, oh, thanks for the information. If I'm interested, I'll get back to you, or it's not going to work for our company. And there are no hurt feelings. In fact, you appreciate that, because now I don't have to waste my time talking to you. I can move on to the next person, whereas women tend to take it personally when someone does. That's been my experience. I'm learning to do business in a more masculine way, if I can say that. Just get to the point. And that's where I think that there is a little bit of a struggle or miscommunication or even misunderstandings between the sexes.
Okay, Rosalind, I got to interject slightly. Because I work in school and everything, and I work with females all the time, and I'm a decent looking guy. But I think for for females, I think it's kind of like how you kind of approach the situation, depending on what it is. Because if you're trying to get to know someone, it's a little bit different, conversational wise. And then as far as a business atmosphere, how the female dresses and stuff like that. If you're trying to just generally conversational wise, if somebody's trying to hit on you, I think it's a little bit different than trying to get to know you. But that could also be misconstrued as far as conversational wise. So my question, saying all that, is what are some common communication differences between the sexes?
Oh, okay. I hope I'm understanding your question correctly. I think I mentioned earlier, if See, I was talking more on an entrepreneurial level, like someone that I'm going to meet at networking and not necessarily see them day to day. While I agree what you said, where yes, there is that nicety in the conversation, if that relationship is going to be on a daily basis, I think that is a smart thing to do to get to know someone. But there are subjects that you would perhaps want to avoid. Now, if I understood your question correctly, if you, a nice-looking guy, is talking to a female coworker, maybe she's new or new to the department, and you're just trying to get to know her, and she misconstrues that, is that kind of where you were going with it?
Yes.
Okay. That's her business. It depends. That's her problem if she misconstrues it. And once it has been established that she's like, winking and, crossing the legs or something like that, and you get that vibe, it is up to you now to immediately handle it and not let it go, either by excusing yourself, changing the conversation to a business-related conversation. Maybe consider the next couple of times you see her, depending on how much she came on to you or something, was interested, not being alone when you have these conversations so that they stay with a third party to keep it more neutral. But if she out and out meets you down the hall and just go, oh, I really loved talking with you earlier today, and it's like a just in your face, come on, that's when you deal with it immediately and just go, oh, I'm so sorry, you misunderstood. Do that benefit of the doubt so that you don't want to embarrass someone really. And what if you're misunderstanding?
True.
Probably not. But just privately, you don't have to, run to HR. And I tell women that too. If a gentleman approaches you in that more intimate type of way, unless he's vulgar and just down and out dirty, but if it's like, hey, you look attractive, how about lunch or wine later, just say, oh, I'm not interested in that in that way. I'd like to keep my relationship, at a business level, but I appreciate it, or I'm flattered, thank you. And you move on. And that's it.
Sounds great.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Hi, Rosalinda. This is Will again.
Hello.
So help me with this. So we were talking about in the earlier discussion, we were talking about perception and whatever thought or illusion that people come up from, just seeing you or knowing something about you. Let's move the conversation towards dating. So I've had situations where I've been interested in people, taking them out to eat. You said that there are things that you can do to give the idea of a price point for when they're looking over the menu. I saw that on one of your interviews, and you were like, I think the example you gave was the stuffed chicken breast looks good. Can you give me a little bit more insight on how we can do that so they don't get carried away by what they think you have?
Yeah, well, first of all, maybe your restaurant selection wasn't the right one. That's the giveaway right there. If you book it at the top of the mark or the top of wherever it is in your area, that already eludes or gives the impression that it's going to be a pricey dinner.
Okay.
And, depending on who I am, I might just go, well, it's already costing an arm and a leg. What the heck? I'm going to go for it. So maybe consider a more price-friendly, I guess you can say, restaurant for the first time to get to know this person because, as you mentioned, you start dating, the first one or two, we're usually on our best behavior.
Right.
And, I'll just have the cup of soup, and, when it really gets down to it, they're having the lobster and everything else.
Exactly.
So do that, and then, yes, exactly what you said, oh, gosh, I hear that this sounds good, and that is an indicator. However, I've had people ask me, they've practiced that on a date, and the person, male or female, does not take the hint, whether they don't want to or they're just so unaware that they still order something very expensive, and they order the appetizers and the dessert and all that stuff. Well, then you're stuck. Or if you are on a budget, you may just say, why don't we stick to this? I'd like to, leave and if you have some other plans, get to the movie on time. So why don't we skip dessert, or we get an ice cream later if you see that they're going crazy on that.
So it wouldn't be in your advice to say, that's a little out of the budget for tonight.
You can.
You can.
You can. There is nothing really wrong. You're not being. I think most people. I commend you for being open. To me, that's a courageous statement to say on a first date, because normally we're trying to impress one another.
Right.
And a lot of people will go in debt because they just don't know what to say. So if you can say that, for tonight, this is something da-da-da-da-da. I think that is marvelous, and you will learn so much about that person depending on their reaction.
I completely concur. I'm just like waving my hands in the studio right now. I'm just like, yes. Because if this is like a first date, you're trying to meet somebody and they're trying to like break your bank, or if they're not cognizant of, especially if you're doing something else aside from eating, then they're just trying to get in your pockets. They're not interested in, being around you or getting to know you as a person or enjoying your company. They're just, you know what I mean? Like, I tip my hat off to you on that, because I completely agree. Completely.
Good. Yeah, and plan different types of dates. We're so used to, the dinner and all that. Save that for the third day. Maybe the first one, go do something fun where you can actually see them interact with other people and situations. I mean, people do that on employers, or potential employees do that on interviews. Let's see how you handle adversity, how you handle a rude ticket taker or something like that. And that's where you learn, and then it saves you tons of money on that nice dinner.
Agree. Like for me, like if I'm going to go on a date with somebody that I'm not like completely like lukewarm on, I would either bring them somewhere public where like I have other friends that are there and we're all hanging out together, so that way my friends can gauge, how they are, and they can kind of give me the thumbs up or thumbs down, so that way I'm not spending a ton of money on this person. You know what I mean? So that way if stuff goes south, then I can have my escape plan and I'm good.
Yeah, and I think that's great for the date as well. It gives them an out, a shorter evening.
Agreed.
Make the first date, lunch or breakfast even, or, just so that you're right, you have an out, even if it's not with friends, but it's short, it's less expensive, and then you gauge if they accept or not. So that's all good stuff.
Now, I have a question. It's Chris again. So normally at a work setting, how would you handle if you're interested in attending a networking event? If you aren't interested, I'm sorry.
Oh, if you are not interested. Well, typically, if you're working for an employer, they either will encourage you or send you, and then you really have no choice to represent the company. I've run across a lot of people who, I work for this big company and I'm here. To drum up business or whatever. Well, then at that point, you do it, and you do it graciously, and you represent your company well. But if you're on your own, or you're networking because you're looking for a new career, and you don't want to go and you get invited, simply say, no, thank you. That's it. I mean, to me, the less information you give, to me, giving out information and excuses is ammunition for the other person who may be the pushy type of person. So normally when I don't want to attend a networking event, I just say, no, thank you. It's not convenient for my schedule, or I have a prior commitment. That prior commitment can be I'm watching, CSI or whatever on TV, eating, popcorn with extra butter on there, sitting on the couch.
Right.
That's my business. So a simple no, thank you, or thanks for thinking of me. Perhaps next time if you really want to keep that door open.
Okay. So let me take that from work to personal, because I'm the type of person where I would prefer, if I had an option, I would prefer to be home. I really like being in my house. It's very comfortable. I'm fine doing that. But because of what I do, I get a lot of invitations to go to a lot of places to which I do not normally go. But I was told by my publicist and by friends that, that's not the best thing sometimes. That sometimes when you don't take invitations, the invitations stop coming. Then I was told sometimes you have to socialize with a purpose. What is your advice on my situation?
I agree that you are in the public eye. You want to expand your audience or followership. That is something that I fought tooth and nail. I'm like you, but I went to the extreme and attended almost every event that I could attend. And what I have learned is be strategic. If you're going to do it, especially when you don't like it, you're comfortable at home, all that stuff, be selective. That's okay. You're still getting out there, because I have wasted, and now that I think about it, it really wasn't a waste. I learned a lot. I learned that those were not for me, those type of networking events. They're not all a good fit. They're not all beneficial, and not just to you, because that sounds like, greedy, like, what's in it for me? And a lot of people attend for that reason. But not beneficial for others. There's nothing you can do to help them. So do a little research on the event before you decline or accept. Sometimes you can even see who's going to be there, the location. Personally, I refuse, and maybe I'm getting old, but to go to networking events where there's super loud music, tons of free booze and food. No one is there. In fact, I've been to some of those where they've been so honest and they go, I'm just here to hook up, or I'm just here for the free food. It's like,
Wow.
well, I mean, I appreciate it. I actually thank them because now I'm not going to waste my time trying to talk to you over this super loud music.
Right.
So I just don't go to those type of events anymore, or very seldomly. So be selective.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Rosalind, this is Donnell again. Civility and etiquette sounds too formal for today's world. Why should the average person care about this?
You don't have to care. I just think if it's working for you, being rude, being pushy, being aggressive, whatever, getting you where you need to be, apparently, it works. Go for it. However, how many people are you losing along the way? How many doors have you closed and opportunities have you lost? So to me, while it can be formal, especially the word etiquette and even civility, so that's why I kind of break it down to more social skills, just interacting with people, that really just, I think it helps you respond to situations versus react.
Okay.
Okay.
That's huge. I believe it helps you more productively handle like awkward or difficult situations. And as I mentioned, it can enhance your business relationships and especially your personal relationships. And that is something we all strive for, most of us. And people say, well, that, if I'm being sweet and nice and kind, then I'm not being aggressive and assertive. And that doesn't mean anything. In fact, you can say whatever you want. Just say it tactfully. Especially I say that to the people who go, I just speak my mind. I got to tell people what I'm thinking. Well, no, you don't, first of all. No, you don't. And secondly, did they ask you? Are they open to it? Hello. But even if you are that type of person, and I'm not going to change and all that, I hear that all the time, fine. Just say it tactfully. Because what is your point? Gosh, sorry, I went off. But,
No, you're fine.
It makes you more likable as well,
Thank you.
practicing some of these things.
No, along the whole lines of etiquette, I know there's a lot of people out there that are germophobic but don't consider themselves to be. How do I shake hands with someone who's just wiped their nose? Or if so, how can I decline?
All right. You never decline a handshake first, even if their hand has been in other places that you just saw them do, scratching or itching, whatever. You don't. Now, if you can. However, I know it's nasty, but however, if you do decide to decline, think about your reason. Oh, I have, most people the go-to thing is, oh, I've got a cold, I'm trying not to pass it. Okay, that's great, but there you are talking with them, and the third person enters your little group, and you shake their hand. Now, what does that look like? So you need to be careful once you've, that tangled web we weave thing about lying. You can say that. Or maybe, you happen to have some food in your hand or holding a beverage and just go, oh, my hand's a little damp, and not shake their hand. That's another way, but you better have a drink in your hand or food that you're holding. So that's a few ways to decline. And if you do shake their hand, then just keep it to your side, and as soon as the conversation's over, excuse yourself and Purell the heck out of it or wash them or whatever you need to do. Just don't pick up any food and eat it. And the other thing to remember is just because we didn't see someone's hand go somewhere unpleasant, it doesn't mean it hasn't been there before they walked in the room.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I have a doctor that all he does is he does the fist bump. He walks in, he does a fist bump. Like,
I know
okay.
some
Is
people
that
like
just
to
as
do the
bad
arm
because you
bump.
still got germs on your knuckles and like the top of your hand?
I mean, regardless.
Yeah.
Well,
you don't expect
you
to
will, but no
find
food
germs
usually
within
goes there.
you.
Usually pick things up with your fingers, or you rub your eye with your fingers.
Touche.
And a lot of people are doing that, and I've been asked, like, what if I'm meeting someone, or even at an interview, I'd extend my hand, or, you're meeting someone for the first time, a client, extend my hand. Now, if they put the fist bump out, then go with it. Don't, you're not going to go, hey, what are you doing, or anything like that.
Okay.
Go with it. Mm-hmm.
So our final question for you, we were debating, well, actually Donnell was debating before you called in. So you're going out with your friends for the evening. When the check is presented, how do you split the check without ruining the evening?
Okay. That's a big one, and that comes up. If you go out frequently with these friends, then you can easily talk about it. Hey, we're all splitting the check, right? some restaurants won't let you split the check because, if it's 6 or more, I've spoken to several servers and they said that'll take us forever, one credit card at a time or one debit card at a time. So that's one of the reasons that they do that. If you're in a situation, let's just say whatever situation, and somebody goes, no, I'm getting it, offer. If the person offers, you can say, please let me once. If they go, no, I got this. Well, would you let me leave the tip? No, I got this. Stop. Thank you. And just accept it as a gift. And you can pay it back or invite them later. But fighting is I just say don't. You can always deal with it once you leave the restaurant. You can deal with it the next day. I did that. I put it on my credit card, and I said, hey, just send me something through PayPal. It was $57 for you. And we dealt with it that way because this technology is there. We don't need to, settle the score right there and then, unless you got that friend who always forgets their wallet. Then you want to
Oh,
get
yes,
it in advance.
exactly. Conveniently forgets the wallet every time. Exactly. So your book, Don't Burp in the Boardroom. So are some of these tips in the book as well?
Yes, some of them. Not so much dating because it's a lot more related to the workplace,
Okay.
but I do extend it in some. And a lot of the things that I talk about in options really can be applied in your personal life.
Okay. And where can people get a copy of this book?
Amazon. That's the easiest way. Barnes & Noble or Amazon.
Okay. And people can follow you because you also do like workshops and things like that. How can people follow you?
Just if you go, I don't like to give out, every little social media call name. It's just tedious. But just RosalindaRandall.com and everything's on there. Twitter, everything, all the information that you need and tips that I put up there all the time.
Awesome. So were there any more common rude behaviors that you wanted to tell us about?
Well, the top complaints, and it kind of varies from year to year, but the most recent ones I hear is lack of response. People do not reply to a text or an email or a phone call.
Yes.
Just say
yeah,
no.
They do.
I don't want.
Or they don't, rather.
Yeah. And that's just even in business. And the kind of unwritten rule in the etiquette world for business is get back to someone 24 to 48 business hours. But because everyone's with their phone, we all expect immediate response. And if we don't, we are texting, we are
Right.
That is very true.
That is very true.
It is. And you know what I tell people? If you have that person who is not going to wait, just they will hound you forever, there's a choice to make. Either let them hound you and irritate you and annoy you, or get back to them and get them off your back.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have options on how to handle that. And to me, the latter is usually it. And the other one is a speakerphone. People walking around the store.
Oh, yeah.
Work is like, I don't care about your Aunt Hilda. Just no. And then the big one is lack of interest during a conversation. People either looking at their phone or looking to see who's walking by.
And that's just rude.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, those are the top ones. And if I could leave people with one thing, because I know you need to wrap this up, is I just overlook things. I think we spend so much time and energy and our joy and time to accomplish things are taken away because we stop and just want to dissect everything that someone says, or did they mean it, and were they mean, and did they unfriend me? So what? My life is going to go on. So I'm a big fan of overlooking things and then just moving on.
Okay. I do have one more question. So back to the dating, because I want to make sure I handle something right. I really don't care if I handle it right.
Yes, you do.
But technically, I want to make sure that
lying to you.
Be quiet. So
for other people, you want to know for other
exactly. I like how you said that. So if you're dating somebody, and we weren't even dating, but if you're just not even feeling the chemistry, is there what's the right way to go about it? This is what I did. First, you tell me if it's wrong. Okay, so it was just pretty much a texting thing. It was through our next guest is going to talk about online or app dating. It was through an app. And so it's basically just texting, but the conversation got off, and I wasn't liking how it was going. So what I did was I texted them back, told them that the conversations weren't going in the direction that I was comfortable with or that I liked, and that I appreciated talking to them, but to take care. Was that the right way to do it, or?
Well, it depends on how deep you got into the texting. Was it already a little bit, amorous, and was it going well? And then all of a sudden she says one thing and you just slam her down.
Sexting.
That's confusing for her.
Well, it was going good, and then there was a little flirting going on, and then the flirting just got continual, and it was just to the point where I'm like, okay. I was seeing where it was going. It was a kind of a turnoff. So I was just like,
Yeah, I think, the bad thing about texting conversation is you miss the facial expression, you miss the body language, you miss the nuances, and how do you know her girlfriend's not sitting there going, say this, say this?
Exactly, yeah.
It can be depending on the mood. Are you sitting there texting while you're watching TV and you just sort of wrote a sentence where it could have been misunderstood, or her as well? So I just think even a phone call, and I know that is not today's world where you want to hear each other.
That's why there's FaceTime.
Yeah, FaceTime. Once it gets a little bit, when you got to the flirting stage, that could have been the next step to see that, and you still could have gotten the same vibe, and she could have said the same flirty, ongoing thing, whatever turns you off. But I believe if it's a turnoff, and I heard you guys talking about overweight people and all that, and it's true. It's your thing. It's nobody can tell you what you're going to be attracted or what is a turnoff.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
They were looking at me all sideways.
I was watching.
Yes.
So I think in your case, I've got a good head on my shoulders, and I'm a good mental state of mind. I don't know who you're dealing with. I would appreciate a forthright saying, let's just stop this now. Don't be wasting my time. So I would have appreciated it, but you don't know who's on the other end, really.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. All right. When you know better, you do better. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and I'm definitely going to have you back if you will. Oh,
it would be a pleasure, and thank you for being so understanding with the cancellation.
Oh, no problem at all.
All of you were a pleasure. It was really fun.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. We're waiting for our special guest to come in, but I want to ask you a question. So what are your thoughts about, I know you guys have, both of y'all look like y'all have done it before. What are your thoughts about snooping through your significant other's texts, emails?
First off, I've never done that because I'm a big advocate of trust, because I have my own texts and emails, and if she would dare to try to go through my stuff, we would have issues. There's an Aalai song. It's called Don't Know What to Tell You. And the lyric says, we cannot have TRUST to keep our LOVE. If there's no trust, there's no nothing. So if you feel as though you need to go through somebody's texts, emails, whatever the case, y'all don't need to be together, period.
So you've never done it?
No.
Your nose growing.
Now, I've had that done to me. Why would I, honestly, if you're going to cheat or do whatever you need to do, you're going to do it, or not need to, but want to, whatever. You're going to do it anyway. So why am I going to exert all the extra energy to go snoop behind you for what? I got my own life.
Okay, so if somebody, if she does snoop, fine.
Oh, it's happened. She's snooped. I have a story. You want me to tell you the story?
No, I don't. I really don't. Do you respond to it?
You have to respond. You can't not respond.
You don't have to respond to it.
Yeah,
you went through my stuff.
You do, because then the situation is already created. Hey, such and such texted you this, and then there's the okay, well, why are you going through my phone? Oh, well, I was suspicious of blah, 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 blah. Well, why was you suspicious? You can't talk to me and say, hey, I feel XYZ, but you want to wait till I'm asleep or in the shower or whatever, and then, go behind my back and go through my stuff. There's a violation of trust there, so you don't trust me. If you don't trust me, then why are we together? Period.
What do you say, Chris?
That's a good point. I say trust is earned, not given. I believe that you should be able to trust somebody enough to not snoop through their stuff. Granted, if some incidents comes up that, of course, when you snoop through somebody's phone, that kind of violates the whole trust issue. But that just goes along saying that, if you're going to have trust issues enough to go through somebody else's phone, snoop around, and whether or not you find somebody or not, still sets the fact that you don't trust them enough to be on their own to read whatever,
to correlate Chris's point, yes. Now, if somebody did something to violate your trust, then yeah, you're going to go through their stuff. But I feel like if you don't trust this person, you need to let them know that you don't trust them, not go behind their back to go through their stuff.
But then also, why would you still be together then?
Agreed. Now, if you don't trust them, that's a whole communication thing. If you don't trust the person that you're with, hey, whatever happened, I feel XYZ. Maybe we should take a break. Blah blah blah. But don't fake the funk and be like, I'm still happy. I still love you. Blah blah blah. We went through whatever, and I'm asleep or I'm in the shower and you're going through my phone.
Now a lot of people do it out of desperation because they're afraid of finding out if somebody behind their back.
There's a TLC song called "Damage," and the lyric goes, "I might go through your stuff for what I don't want to find." Why are you going through my stuff in the first place? For stuff that you're going to get mad at me for?
Well, sometimes you could give them a reason.
There's always a reason. No.
If you're secretive.
Trust. Period. Communication, not even trust. If you feel a certain type of way, tell me. I have nothing to hide. That's just me personally. Maybe some people do have stuff to hide. If you honestly feel that you don't trust me because of whatever, tell me, hey, I feel XYZ. This is what happened. I don't trust you. Or I feel like you might have lied or half lied or whatever because of this is what happened. This is the evidence. This is what you did. So I feel how I feel because of this is what you did. Now, if you keep doing what you did, then we got issues. Am I going to go through your stuff? For what? I'm grown. I got my own life. Everybody has their own life to live, period. If you're going to spend all this extra energy, granted, if you care about this person, you want to work it out, whatever. But if they keep breaking your trust, either you look stupid or they're letting you look stupid, or maybe there's a bigger picture and more stuff you need to work on.
So how do you feel about passwords in a relationship?
Your personal stuff is your personal stuff.
How do you feel about passwords? That's the question.
You need a password. You have your own life. If you break up,
what's the password for?
Because you have your own stuff. Now, if you break up, you have to realize once you're not with your significant other, you're still you. A lot of people lose themselves in their relationship. You can share passwords. You have nothing to hide. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time,
so you're saying you can share passwords? They can have your password. It's not for them.
Nobody should make you give them anything. Period. You are your own person, whether you're in a relationship or not. So.
And on that note, I mean, the whole password situation, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own right to privacy.
Agreed.
But, no, I just want to...
You're going to give your girlfriend, access to all your stuff? You're going to give your girlfriend access to all your stuff?
It depends what stuff.
You're going to give your girlfriend access to all your stuff?
Well, not all the...
Thank you. That's my point.
I mean... As far as, pictures, sure. You have friends that like the...
You're side talking me. Are you or are you not going to give your girlfriend access to all of your stuff? Yes or no?
If she asks for it.
So you're not going to volunteer but if she...
Because I don't want her to feel that she can't trust me.
That has nothing to do with trust, though. You had your Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff before y'all even got to... Hold on. You let me finish. You had all that stuff before y'all got together. So why should she need access to all of it?
I mean, she wouldn't unless you didn't violate it.
So, again, if she asked you, even though she doesn't need access to it, would you give it to her? Or would you ask her why does she need it?
I mean...
I know you started with the answer,
well, of course,
for all our avid listeners, go ahead.
Of course you'd ask, if she questions whether or not she can trust you or not. But
why does it have to do with trust if you haven't done anything to make her mistrust you? What if she's like, hey, Chris, I love you were dating for X amount of time, blah, blah, blah. Give me your password to your Facebook, your Instagram, your email, just to make sure you're not doing anything.
Of course you're going to ask why.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, just to make sure there's nothing going on. Would you still give it to her, even though you might have nothing to hide? But just for the fact that, hey, some stuff I have to keep to myself, you still give it to her, yes or no?
I would.
Okay. All right.
You see the smirk?
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Will, you see the smirk on his face?
Thank you so much. Okay, I need to make a public statement. Someone challenged me to say something. So we were talking earlier about the lady that was in the bathing suit, who my point was that she was comfortable in her own skin. Even though a lot of people may not be attracted to somebody who's overweight, she was comfortable in her own skin. I just need to go on record saying that I personally do not fat shame because there's a person who is in our chat room on Facebook who was saying that I fat shame. And I think that person, they're very uncomfortable in their own skin. So they're really going against what I was saying that is attractive. Someone who's comfortable in their own skin, this person is not comfortable in their own skin. So they fat shame them their own selves.
They're not talking to us about the...
Not even talking to us.
Oh.
But they just wanted me to verbally say that I don't fat shame. So that's them. But let me ask you guys this question. So there was a mom who lost 103 pounds to spite her husband and her husband's mistress. So imagine giving birth. I know you guys can't imagine that, but imagine giving birth to a beautiful baby girl, and then a mere few months later, you discover text on your husband's phone, going through your husband's phone, that not only revealed that he was cheating on you, but that he and his mistress were teasing you about the weight that you had gained having his baby. So she had just given birth to her daughter. At that time, she weighed 265 pounds. Some normal people would feel that, taking their kids and burning the house down and just divorcing him. But what she did was she took a different route. She actually thanked him for the whole situation, and she went out and lost 103 pounds.
That sounds like an Adele song.
Yeah.
But I'm listening.
So I want to know, have you guys ever encountered or experienced something that hurt you so bad, but that actually challenged you to do better or improve yourself? Because I always say success is the best revenge.
I'm going to let you go ahead and handle that, Chris.
Well, I'll let you take your piece, too. But
I'm not spiteful like that.
I don't think that's spiteful.
Honestly. See, this guy daggers. But I agree. Success is your own revenge. Like there's always, situations that, you go through with people and, you break up, whatever, and then they see you doing, what you're doing now, and you're a lot more successful than you were when you were with them. So sometimes they may say, hey, I'm glad that you're doing well, and sometimes they might not. But that you're doing better than you were while you were with them. So, your success, you don't necessarily have to, make it known or gloat or, be petty about it. But they know that you're successful, rather, and you know that you're successful, which is even more important. So, that in itself is its own revenge without you having to be petty about it.
But I personally haven't had that happen to me. But I know that would play a big part in motivation towards self-success. And granted, going out of her way, thanking him, that was a really bold thing to do. And I must say, I commemorate her for that. But because, how successful she was, losing all that weight, I feel that it was to her own healthy well-being.
Agreed. I just think if you're going to do something like that, as far as losing weight, to me, I would do it more so for me than to spite,
do it for your
my mistress or my ex-wife and her dude, I guess.
Instead of
Mr. Is it Mr. I think? Is it Mr.? Whatever. The dude that she was cheating on me with, so, I would, if I was that big, I gave birth to whatever, I adopted a kid and I was just happened to be fat, whatever. My ex was cheating on me with some dude, whatever. So, I would want to look better and do better for me. Granted, maybe I might rub it in her face, maybe I wouldn't. But, that wouldn't necessarily be my fuel, to do better for myself. But I commend her for it. And I'm pretty sure she's better off now that she's thinner, with the baby and all that. So she probably looks better than the mistress. Who knows?
She look good in the picture. Yeah. But okay, me personally, we all have discussed my breakup, but my breakup really encouraged me.
Which one,
It
Will?
Motivated me. I've only had one breakup in 16 years, baby. Get with it.
I was okay. Hold up, 'cause you caught him out on the air. Okay.
Get with it.
What?
16 years, only one.
So it wasn't.
But okay,
Ooh.
what that did was that motivated me to, number one, get in the gym because, dating after 16 years, I'm in my 40s now. So I'm trying to maintain, my appearance. So it motivated me to get in shape, motivated me to finish my degree, work on my next degree. And it just really motivated me to work on myself, to better myself. And it's not for revenge or anything. It was just basically, now is my time. Because before, when you're in a relationship, you're sharing a lot of that.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. I agree.
And this was just motivation for me to actually become the best person that I can become. Yeah. For me. But friend requests. Do you guys accept all the friend requests you get?
I have 5,000 Facebook friends, so I can't.
You finished? You're max?
I am maxed out.
So did you, when people would send them to you, would you just accept them?
No, I can't. Because Facebook tells you, hey, you've reached your capacity of Facebook friends.
No,
so
I'm talking about, but to get to that 5,000, when people would send you a friend request?
Oh, no.
Or would you research them and check?
No. If somebody does send me a friend request, I would either check how many mutual friends we have to make sure I actually know you. But, between school, the military, music, modeling, all the extra stuff that I do, I get friend requests all the time. So if someone does send me a friend request, because sometimes people have more than one page, for whatever stupid reason that they do, for me, it'd be how many mutual friends that we have in common, or if I actually know you, or if I might met you in passing and, we chit-chatted or whatever, and you just found me on Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
If I met you in person and I know who you were, as soon as I see your profile picture or whatever, then obviously, I would confirm because I don't have 5,000 friends. Anyways. But, depending on, along with the whole mutual friendship thing, if I knew you through hanging out with another group of people, I might add you. It's kind of a whole controversy there. But yeah, so, pretty much if I know who you are and I've worked with you before or I met you through another group of people, quite normally.
So you're really strict on.
I am.
Okay.
For me, like I will say this, I would honestly delete somebody to add somebody else if it's for like networking or like really click, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's somebody that I'm really cool with, I'm not above deleting people to add somebody else. If it's beneficial to be your Facebook friend, vice being somebody else's that I haven't talked to in X amount of time, or they might have more than one page. Like, you know, like, because Facebook notifies you when it's somebody's birthday, and then you find out they have like 2 pages.
Yeah.
Which one do you use?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on.
Okay, that's a good point. What's one of your other topics? You had a lot of good topics in the group.
I did, and I honestly cannot think of one directly off the top of my head. Oh, I do. Okay, I have one. Wait, I had like 2, and I was going to say one, then I like totally changed my mind.
Did you have one of yours?
Yeah, like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I had a couple. But mine's more along the lines of healthy choices.
Which is good. I like health.
Is, should you either eat 3 meals a day, or should you eat small portions throughout the day?
I take fat burner, so I don't eat.
Who got time for all that? I eat when I'm hungry.
That's the thing. Like, I'm trying to we have a bet, so I have like the whole Ninja Body bet thing going on. So I've lost like 15, 16 pounds from May to like now. So like these GNC, shout out, Performix, good job guys. But like no, like I exercise and stuff. But like what they do is like I have to like make myself eat because I'm conscious that I haven't eaten. So like I'll eat like, you know, a salad, or because like last night I cooked like salmon and chopped it up and put it on like a bit of, you know, lettuce and like, you know, peppers and all that, and like light vinaigrette dressing was very delicious. But like no, like I honestly, like for people for normal circumstances that aren't mine, I honestly think probably smaller portions than bigger, because you don't eat to get full. You know, you eat, you know, to, you know, sustain yourself.
Feel your appetite.
Yeah.
But for Will, because I know you said you've been going to the gym, you know, quite recently, and I've seen your Facebook posts. So do you think it's more important to have your, you know, nutritional 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner?
I think it's actually more nutritional. Everyone, because I've had a couple trainers, and they were just saying more mini meals throughout the day, to eat heavier early, like your breakfast and your lunch, and then more lighter, and then your in between snacks towards the evening, and then stop by 7 o'clock.
Oh, really? So like after 7 you can't eat anything until you go to sleep?
That's what they were saying.
So how many mini meals do you eat before 7?
They're saying like 6 to 7. You should eat 6 to 7 times per day, not full meals, but some of the things that they're giving.
You know, give it like 2-3 hours, and then.
Well, it made no sense to me, and I wasn't interested. So
but
I really
see,
because
I would want to know like what consists of, you know, like a meal, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it like a chicken
like protein shakes? So those are considered like
okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
those are considered like meal replacements.
Side note, okay, for everybody that takes protein, because my twin brother does, and like you do, and it tastes like powdered dirt to me. Like, what's the end game? I know you want to get big in muscles and all that, but like, is there something that you can drink with it or take with it to make it taste better? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can, maybe it's me.
Well,
it's me.
It's a lot thicker, kind of like more of like a milkshake-esque. If you mix it with milk than with water. I personally take it with water because, granted, it's still chunky, but that's just the style because it's cookies and cream. There are chunks of, you know, cookies still in there. But, you know, with the other powders, like I know I have Gold Whey, French vanilla.
Chunky water still sounds nasty.
But
go ahead.
it's a lot thinner and it goes down a lot smoother. But I mean, personally, I just don't like the taste, and I figure a lot of people turn towards more, you know, how their protein tastes than actually taking whatever's on the market. So they try.
We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that. You know what? Our next guest is on the line, Dr. Aalai. She's Ph.D. She's a tenure-track assistant professor of psychology at Queensborough Community College in New York. She has also served as an associate professor at her alma mater, the George Washington University. She's the author of Understanding Aggression, Psychological Origins and Approaches to Aggressive Behavior. She is an adjunct at NYU for the MA program in psychology, where she teaches psychology of social media to graduate students there. So we're going to welcome her on the show to talk to us about our dating apps and online dating ruining our love lives. Please help me welcome to the show, Dr. Aalai. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on. We were just talking a little bit earlier about some of my escapades with apps. I'm on every app known to man, and just not having the best of luck at it. So I just wanted to ask you to get things started. How is technology impacting romance in this 21st century?
Oh, man. I think a better question would be, how is it not? It's a total game changer, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, I think that ultimately we're all searching for connection, and technology just offers us an additional resource to seek out that connection and to give us potentially more options or choices.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I've seen Catfish, and I'm sure that you have. And like it's kind of messed up that people use other people's pictures to to lure people in, and they talk to them for X amount of time, and then they fall in love, and then they meet them, or they don't meet them, and then XYZ happens. Is it more intimidating to approach people for the first time face to face, since so much socialization has migrated online?
Yeah, face to face definitely requires a different skill set than online. And actually, what a lot of the research suggests is for millennials who've grown up with the technology, they're so accustomed to having the buffer of that screen that they're just not as comfortable with face-to-face interactions.
Okay.
Because think about it, face-to-face, it's awkward, it's unscripted, there are silences or pauses, for instance. You can't necessarily anticipate what the person is going to say. Facial expressions are really complex. And for a lot of younger people, when interactions migrate online, they feel like they're more in control because they can read over what they're saying. You have this sense that you're presenting the best version of yourself. But obviously, it also is that double-edged sword. You can be presenting a false version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a watered-down version of yourself. I don't really think that the medium of going online promotes our authentic selves. It really encourages performance. So whether it means just photoshopping or using an app to disguise our flaws physically, or a catfish scenario where you're completely misrepresenting yourself, there's definitely a lot more room for deception.
This is Chris, and I'm just curious. Do you feel that there are trade-offs regarding meeting people in a more traditional way than, like, through family or friends versus online intimate connections?
I think that with the smartphones and how accessible our digital gadgets are, the lines between offline and online are kind of blurred today,
Right.
especially for younger people. So even if you meet someone through more traditional means, you still have access to Googling them, right? You can still check them out on social media. So I think there's always a little bit of that online connection, regardless of how you first meet. But there's probably more of a safety if you're meeting someone through a third party that you trust versus if you're using a dating app or some other kind of less personal source. But I think there's a lot of blurring today where even if we meet someone through more traditional means, a lot of times we're still going to seek them out online and try to see how they're presenting themselves on social media or through other sites, for instance.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let me see, I was in a relationship for 16 years. Prior to me getting in the relationship, they didn't have apps. They were non-existent. So now single again, there are apps. And like I said, I'm on all of them. But I want to know, are there any generational variations in the willingness to, seek out partners online? I mean, I was pretty much technical savvy, so I had no problem transitioning. But I have some people who are in my age range who just aren't comfortable with doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the stereotype that younger people are more comfortable with dating apps. I have to share with you, I was actually really surprised when this was actually systematically studied. You guys might be surprised to hear that there's actually no difference between millennials who are using the dating apps versus adults over the age of 35.
Oh, okay.
It's within the 29 to 30% range. So what's happened, especially within the last several years, is that, it used to be totally stigmatized to meet people online.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's just such an acceptable part of our culture today that you have a lot of older people that are becoming more comfortable or that are being encouraged by other people to at least try it. You actually might also be surprised to hear that people who've never been married are the biggest users of online dating.
Okay.
And there's an increase among individuals in their 50s and 60s.
Not me yet, but
Even
okay.
some of our parents and older folks are getting on board as well.
Yeah. Okay. And do you find that people who have busier lifestyles, like working professionals, that's always my excuse because I'm so busy. That's my socialization time. I don't have time to go to
Definitely.
clubs or
It's
things
so
like that.
absolutely, and it can be hard or it can be intimidating to just kind of approach someone cold in different social settings unless you have someone else to kind of facilitate a meeting.
Exactly.
And so I think even among older users, we're starting to feel more comfortable kind of migrating our socialization online. And there is that sense of kind of a buffer with the screen. Being rejected on a dating app isn't quite as bad
It
as
is
going up
not.
to someone in a
It
bar,
is not.
right? So you want to
not.
be careful about that too, because I feel like a lot of people will get distracted or spend time on dating apps, but they won't actually meet the people they're communicating with. Have you ever spoken to people on these dating apps online, but you never actually meet face to face?
Oh, tons, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I just ended one tonight. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I have to share, I met my partner online, and I'm not particularly tech savvy, but I think that a lot of it has to do with motivation, kind of what are your intentions when you use the dating app, and what are you looking for, what are your expectations.
Okay.
And for me, I was looking for an exclusive relationship, and so I was somewhat selective in terms of which dating apps I was using, but I was also very eager to facilitate a face-to-face interaction once we initially connected online, because I feel like what happens, as long as it's within a safe contact face-to-face, if you don't push to meet in person quickly, you can create this false sense of intimacy where you just continue to exchange things online and it never migrates outside the virtual space. You're also dealing with a lot more competition if you stay within the virtual sphere, because you don't know how many other people the potential date might also be communicating with. So I think it's if you're more serious about it or you're really seeking a more meaningful connection, I would recommend kind of facilitating a face-to-face meeting sooner.
Right. And that would mean that would have to be local as well.
That's true, absolutely. And of course you can filter searches to kind of see how close versus how far would you be willing to travel or search, for instance.
Exactly. All right, thank you.
Because you can be face-to-face on, FaceTime, or that, there's other, mediums that you can actually see this person that you're still dating online, because long-distance relationships do work theoretically.
Right.
But my question is, are dating apps conducive to romance, or are they undermining opportunities for real connections? You said you met your partner online, so not you personally, but just like objectively speaking.
No, I mean, I think that's a great question. And again, I think it goes back to there isn't just one way to date online. People are going to approach the apps with their own motivations or expectations. And I think it depends on how much effort you put into it, how much attention you pay to what you're doing, how patient you are, for instance, because, what a lot of people will share regarding their online dating experiences is you have to filter through, I hate to say it, like a lot of BS, or maybe have a lot of dud dates before. So there has to be that kind of sense of patience and resilience, because it's almost like a needle in a haystack, right?
Yeah, because I actually met this girl, like, at a club, and, like, we had met actually online before. So I saw her, she saw me, like, I knew her from somewhere, but I couldn't remember exactly where I knew her from. So she's just like, hey, you're you. And I'm like, hey, you're you. And she was like, yeah, like, I meant to talk to you, but I honestly thought, you were a catfish because you were so attractive. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. So I'm like, thank you, I guess. She was like, like, I wanted to respond back, but I honestly didn't think you were you. I thought you were using your pictures and you were somebody else. And I'm just kind of like, okay. So, like, I didn't know, what to say, after that, aside from thanks. So, yeah.
Okay.
Now, let's say, a connection with somebody starts online, through via technology. How does this impact a relationship? Does texting, phone calls become the primary means of connectivity?
Ugh.
That's a good question. Not necessarily. I mean, I think, again, it goes back to the intentions and expectations. If you're using the dating app as a catalyst or a trigger to just maximize the likelihood of meeting someone and making a connection, once you actually initiate the face-to-face interaction, depending on how it goes, you could then migrate to more kind of traditional dates and phone calls and things like that. I think it also depends, again, on the generation. Millennials are far more likely to text or use social media after they meet someone as a way to flirt or communicate with potential flames or individuals that they're interested in versus older people, for instance. And believe it or not, though, across the board, the most popular way of breaking up with someone, if it doesn't work out, is still face-to-face. Well, text messaging is second most common. Yeah, so, which is kind of devastating to think, right? But yeah, I mean, I think that one of the biggest risks is that as we kind of migrate more to a virtual sphere or to online socialization, especially with dating, it's a lot easier to think of potential romantic partners as commodities and to really kind of reduce the complexity of human connections or personalities to what's most apparent online, which could be physical things, for instance, or likes, or arguably more superficial characteristics. And that's why if you were looking for a more meaningful connection, I would suggest initiating a face-to-face interaction, because sometimes, as we all know, we've probably experienced this, how a person appears or acts in virtual spaces might not translate to the real world.
Agreed.
Or maybe someone that you're just kind of like not sure about online, you meet them in person and there's great chemistry. So there's certain things that just can't be replicated without the flesh and bone, just seeing the person face to face. But it's really intimidating for a lot of people. I think that buffer of the screen kind of insulates or can stop us from being more social and being comfortable in real face-to-face interaction.
I just think kind of is like a confidence boost to an extent, because you see what this person looks like, or at least what you think what they look like.
Right.
And you can kind of differentiate what you like and what you don't, what they're looking for, what you're looking for. And once you get past all that, you know, if you have a meaningful conversation, then you kind of go from there. So, like, even if they're not interested or you're not, you know, you can simply like, okay, thank you, you know, et cetera, have a nice day. And the rejection aspect isn't as bad, vice it being in person, which that's the number one way to say, you know, I'm not interested in somebody, and then they'll probably go home and cry their eyes out. But, like, I just think, like, you don't have to kind of go through that in person, the whole feeling bad in person from letting somebody down because you're not interested, because you can do it, you know, via text message or, you know, the computer or whatever case may be.
But don't you think that has the potential to water down the exchange if it's done exclusively online?
Agreed. I just think, like, everybody, guy and girl, because guys hate rejection just as much as females do. They might not admit it, but they do. Like, no one wants to be rejected. And I think it's worse to be rejected to your face, vice being rejected over, you know, a computer screen or a text message or whatever. So, like, they can't necessarily see your reaction. You know what I mean?
That's true. I agree with you, but here's the other side of that sword. It's a double-edged sword. You're right. It softens the blow if you're rejected online, but it also makes us more susceptible to rejecting people online.
I agree.
Because it's not, they're not as three-dimensional. Can I share a personal anecdote with all of you?
Yes, please.
So in terms of my partner, anyone who knows me, I'm a bit of a health nut, and I'm anti-smoking cigarettes. And I don't know if I was just so mesmerized by what he looked like or other things on his profile, but I don't think he necessarily mentioned on his profile that he was a smoker. And then we met in person for our first date, and at the end of the date, he brought out a cigarette and started smoking.
Oh, gosh.
And at that point, I had already met him in person. I was very interested in him. You know, I saw him as a complete person, and I wasn't going to dismiss him just because he was a smoker.
Gotcha.
If I had done a filter on the dating app, I probably would have eliminated him as an option if he had identified as being a smoker, for instance. So, you know, I would have just reduced him to being a smoker rather than recognizing all of these other positive attributes. And we're in a very happy relationship. So I'm grateful for the fact that I either overlooked that or maybe he didn't disclose it. Of course, he's still a smoker, and that's an ongoing issue in the relationship. But the point is, I would have dismissed a very meaningful connection in my life had I seen that online. So you're right. It softens the blow, but it also makes us more prone to kind of just reject and move on to the next person. So that's the other side of it as well, because it's rejecting in the abstract versus in real time, for instance. And so we don't see the entirety of who the person is.
Okay. Well, Dr. Aalai, since you are a success story for online dating or dating apps, and I am not, if I had to ask you for maybe 3 or 4 tips that would help me through this very tedious process, what would you say to me?
I would say be clear about what you're looking for and your expectations, because it's really easy to get kind of distracted by the bells and whistles of the apps, for instance. And so really be clear on what your intention is when you're using the apps. Okay. And as I said, I would initiate a face-to-face interaction within a week span of communicating with the individual. Don't prolong how long you communicate in a virtual space, because in my experience, it can create a false sense of intimacy. And a lot of times, the first impression that you experience when you meet a person face-to-face is all you need to determine whether or not you're interested in moving forward. Right. And a lot of that is delayed online. And I would also try to consider the fact that these are actual people. and maybe try to kind of, it's very easy to be perfection seeking or to just assume that there will be 20 other potential mates out there. And we can get really kind of nitpicky online in terms of if a hairstyle isn't perfect in a picture or if they like a film that you hated or something like that. So try to be more open-minded in terms of your approach. That's what I would recommend. And maybe don't be on too many at the same time, because it could be too much of a distraction.
Okay. Yeah. That's my issue. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any contact information that you would like to share so people can get some of this good advice?
Oh, thanks. So you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Dr._Aalai. I also write for Psychology Today. So if you go to their homepage, you can find my first impression blog, again, under Dr. Aalai.
That's where I found you.
And I'm available for consultation since apparently I'm a success story.
Yes,
so
you are.
Feel free to tweet or email me through Psychology Today. Thanks, guys. I enjoyed speaking with all of you.
Likewise.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Best of luck. Happy dating.
All right. Thanks.
I'm not
Take
dating.
care.
Bye-bye. All right.
Ever.
All right. So did y'all learn anything? I hope you guys learned something.
I don't have any dating apps on my phone because I don't want to date anybody because I don't want to date.
Because you allegedly look so good, as I recall.
No, well,
saying.
shut up. No, I think I'm averagely attractive. Thank you. Okay. But no, I personally am not interested in dating anybody just because I'm busy. 2, I don't have the emotional availability, and 3, I just don't want to. That's just me.
I mean, I personally don't use any dating apps.
Really? Are you against them?
I'm not against them. I mean, hey, they're for people. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities.
He relies on his green eyes and charm.
There are a lot of opportunities that
green eyes and charm.
But you go out. You're a social person, right?
I normally go out. I mean, it's not too often, but
you are a social person.
I am a social person.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do enjoy talking.
Well, see, for people who are very social, who go out, things like that, I think, the traditional method is good. But for somebody who's like constantly working, I do not go out. I don't have a large social circle. I'm not a social person at all, really.
I keep my circle very small.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hey, it does create a window of opportunity if you are looking for the right.
I'm not antisocial. Don't get me wrong. If I'm out and I meet somebody that piques my interest, I'm not gonna not talk to them. I'm just saying I'm not going out of my way to date.
I'm starting to think you're a little bougie. Are you?
I'm not bougie. He's around me like 95. Ooh.
Well, I already thought he was, but I'm just saying.
But he would know. I'm saying like. Oh, Will. Daggers.
Okay. You know what we have in the studio, Mr. Jacobby Debouvier. We also have Mr. Joe Stevens, correct? And is this Shanee? Shanee. Shanee Dawkins. I like that name.
I'm a fan.
I like that name.
By the way. It's good to meet you in person finally.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I need to
Thank you.
Let me cut his mic off. Okay, Mr. Jacobby, you have something coming up on this month. Tell us about this, please.
The 5th annual Black Man Rock Image Awards coming to the Virginia Beach Central Library Theater for the 5th year in a row. And we're going to celebrate 30 black men who have achieved excellence in their field, who are the best in the business, who are on the A-list, who are the who's who at Hampton Roads.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be honoring Chauncey Black from the group Blackstreet. Everybody knows him. He's a Grammy Award-winning singer. We're also honoring another living legend by the name of Gordon Banks, who used to play the guitar for Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye. He also co-wrote the famous #1 hit song for Marvin Gaye called Sexual Healing.
Sexual
We're
healing.
going to honor a gentleman, a media mogul by the name of Will Strayhorn, who is the CEO of this fine establishment right here.
Thank you.
Who has won more Black Man Rock Awards than even I had 3 last year. This will be his, I guess, 6th or 7th award.
Mr. Modesty.
And I thank you. But I always wanted to ask you, where did the idea come from for you to have the Black Man Rock Awards? I think it's a wonderful concept. Where did the idea come from?
Well, I always wanted a Grammy Award. I never was nominated for a Grammy. So I said, why don't, just like I always do, when things that people don't nominate me for, don't include me in, I create my own, like my own magazine, my own publishing company, my own modeling agency, because
You've done a lot.
I got backlash a lot.
Uh-huh.
People said, well, I don't want you on my magazine. So I had my own magazine with you or my makeup artist, and came right on in. Whenever I have a big project, I always try to include
You do. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
If it's not existing, create your own. So, and then when I start thinking about an award show, it's like, well, black men are always on television in the bad light. They're always hauled off in police cars. They never show the excellence that black people are doing. And we have some extremely talented, intelligent. Every time we go to the Black Man Rock Awards, everybody's dressed to the nines. I have to tell them. They always think they're mothers. They always speak eloquent when they get on the microphone. So I don't see the bad in people. The Bible says look for the good in the people, and that's what I do. So it came from me trying to do my end to shift the images from negative to positive, to highlight the good that black people, black men are doing, and to give a scholarship to that one person who's struggling. I didn't have money growing up. I was, very kind of like just no money. So everything I did, I had to really figure out another way. But it was my aunt who, sent me $20 at the university, wrapped up in a little envelope or a paper towel just to encourage me. So that money was going to bless somebody to help them with books or get them on a meal plan, or to sometimes people get to that 3rd year they can't graduate because all the families are around. So I want to be able to be a blessing to people and let them encourage that education is the quickest and the most safest way to work through the maze of poverty and to rise above the norm.
Well, that's good. That's good. And it's always a wonderful event. And like you said, it goes smooth. Everybody looks really well. Anything that we can expect different this year? I know we talked earlier. I don't know if it's a surprise, but you have some big plans for next year's event. Is there anything different that's going to happen this year that we can look forward to?
Well, this
Are we going to eat?
That's different. This year we have sponsors. We have the Hilton Garden Hotel in South Virginia. They are major sponsors, as well as the Fusion Lounge. They have she's a Haitian caterer.
Right. She was on the show before. Right.
I love Creole food in general.
Yeah,
Caribbean food, who cares?
She is going to sponsor the meal for the VIPs at Black Men. And then we're going to have an after party at the Phoenix Lounge for the first time.
Oh, that's wonderful. So it's growing. It's growing.
And then next year we're planning to take it on the road. I'm going to copy my sister, Juanita Fletcher, who does the Archie Awards last
Right.
year. Both of our were a part of that, and I like the way that she takes it to Atlanta and Florida and different places. So I plan to take it to at least a couple of my places to make it grow and to get it incorporated as an actual nonprofit. We had the letterhead. We're making it grow and doing it the right way.
Okay. Did y'all have any questions for Jacobby at all?
I just want to go. I don't got to be nominated, but
Tickets are on eventbrite.com.
I have some tickets now because I've been there. Like, this is my third year going.
I've seen it. We've talked.
And all of my clients, that's like, we've already been 2 years. I'm not buying another ticket. So I'm having trouble. If anybody wants to buy a ticket, please contact me because I need somebody to buy a ticket. Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, people like, I've already been. So that's been my struggle with it. It's not like I'm not trying. I even created a flyer that I see somebody's using for their own purposes.
You could just look right through your phone wheel and say, "Come support me," and I'm sure by the time you get to number 10,
I've done. No, I have not done the phone thing. I've been trying to reach out to.
Those are the people that are closest to you. Your supporters are on your phone.
Well, so, a lot of them are
tell
people.
About that for every event. I look at my phone. I say, "Well, who got money? Who can afford to come? Buy 2 tickets." They're like, "Well, okay."
So are you still having your modeling agency? I know you do screenplays and you work with Tim Reed. I remember the fashion show. Like, how's all that stuff going for you?
Yeah, I still do it, but I just do a few big shows a year. I don't do it like I used to do. I play 1 month, a fashion show. I just do bigger events. As a matter of fact, immediately following this, I'm going to be featuring this vocalist here in my
Do you sing? Hey, I'm a songwriter. Nice to meet you. Hi, Donnell.
He's a great singer. This is Joe Stevens. He's winning the Black Man Rock Award for the best gospel soloist and his group Decree. And he is a great singer. She is a powerhouse vocalist who's opened up for Shanee Moore.
She was married to my cousin.
Yeah.
Kenny Lattimore. That's my cousin. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's so bougie. He's a Lattimore.
I'm not bougie. Daggers,
Next,
man. Daggers.
okay. So let's talk to you then.
I want to hear y'all sing.
Let's talk to you.
Even if you're not on the air, y'all gotta sing before y'all leave.
Come
here. Come share my mic.
Hey, you. I got this.
I'm not gonna talk anymore.
Oh, that might be good. That might work for me.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank
I'm
you.
doing so great.
Thank
So
you so
tell
much
us
for
about
having me.
yourself. You look beautiful.
Thank you. My name is Shanee. Shanee Dawkins. Stage name is Shanee. I sing with bands around Virginia. First, I started off in Seattle.
You from Seattle?
I lived there for 22 years. I was born in D.C., but I was raised in Surrey, Virginia, Seattle, Washington, and also what did I say? Surrey, Virginia? Yes. Yeah, Surrey, Virginia, Washington, Oxon Hill, Maryland, and then Seattle, Washington.
Oh.
So I sang with bands up there. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to go back up there, and I'm going to be opening for Lakeside with surround sound bands. So I've sang with Triple Treat Band, Hit Explosion Band, Funk University Band, surround sound band, Flip Keys, a lot of different bands. But the bands that I'm with now, which is Phase 2 Band in Virginia, also to Masters of Soul tribute band. I travel around the country with them doing the Supremes tribute, Donna Summers and Diana Ross tribute. Not Shaka.
Not Shaka.
But I do sing Shaka.
Okay.
But I was basically just like raised in the church to do those, R&B divas, Whitney Houston, Shaka Khan.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So describe your style?
I'm more of I would say I am a sultry, classic, traditional songbird.
Ooh.
Yes.
Can we hear that? Can we hear that?
Yes. You want to hear some?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. All right. So, would you like to hear some Shaka?
I want to hear whatever you got. Whatever you got for us.
Okay. I'll just go off.
Go off for us.
Okay. I will love you anyway, even if you cannot stay. I think you are the one for me, yeah. Here is where you want to be. I just want to satisfy you, 'cause you're not mine and I can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now or I'll go crazy.
All right. Is she singing at the awards or no?
No.
Why not? She could be entertainment. Men like women.
We have that covered. She's featured at my next event, my Summer Breeze Fashion Music.
Oh, that's right. We have to talk about that
She's
next.
Featured vocalist there, so.
Okay. So
Men are singing. He's singing.
Right. Oh, okay. So what's next for you though? I want to hear what.
Oh gosh, what's next for me? So now we're gonna be doing I'm gonna be actually the featured female vocalist at the Summer Breeze Fashion Music and Arts Festival, July 23rd from 11 to 5 in Suffolk at the Garden Hilton?
The
Hilton Garden Hotel.
Okay.
And, I'm going to be doing, like I said, some Patti LaBelle, some Jocelyn Brown, some Shaka Khan, some Diana Ross, some Donna Summers. So, just come on out and support support our young people. There are going to be vendors there. A wonderful vendor. Her name is Rachel, right? She's going to be, she has a Instagram foreign imports or what have you, and she has things in from different countries and stuff. So it's going to be really, really, really phenomenal.
Michael Jackson dance competition.
At the event?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, hold on to the specifics of that because we're going to get to that. We're going to close with that. But I just want to ask, so you mentioned before that you sing with a lot of groups, and then I just heard you sing solo. Do you prefer singing solo or with groups? I know it's a different dynamic.
You know, I do like singing with groups. I do, because you have that background vocal going on, you know. So I do. I like singing with groups.
Me too. Well, I don't sing. I'm a songwriter, but
You don't sing?
I know how to sing. Like I do.
Let me hear you.
No. But like I sing vocal references. So like if I write a song for an artist, they know how the song is gonna go type deal. So like I understand as far as like having somebody to back you up, you don't have to sing all the notes and all that fun stuff. So like I'm with you on that.
Okay.
He is a great songwriter. I heard a couple of his tracks.
I think initially he had, since when we first started talking like last year, I know he's talented. He goes to his head sometimes, but I know he's talented.
Yeah.
I just want to say you have an amazing voice, and
Oh,
I just
thank
want to
you.
say
I wanted to really do some Beyonce. That's what I was
Oh,
practicing
go
out
ahead.
there.
What you want
So
to
I
say?
was just like, man, I
Well,
want to
Well,
do.
Go ahead.
After we
But-
talk to these, if we have time, you can take us out with Beyonce because we don't, systems are down. We don't have any go, log out music. So
Okay.
have you
That's
ever
what's-
thought of doing American Idol?
No.
No?
That's for my daughter to do.
Oh.
That's for my
you
daughter
said
to do.
somebody you was in Seattle for 22 years.
Hold on.
Aalai, you don't look over 22 years.
My
So-
daughter's 22.
What?
Yes.
Black don't crack. All right,
They
man.
surely don't.
It chipped a little bit for me, but okay.
Well, I'm 23
Times what? All right.
times 2.
All right.
We're going to bring on now Mr. Joe Stevens, and he will definitely be at the Black Man Rock. Sir, tell us about yourself.
Again, my name is Joseph Stevens, director and manager of the gospel group, the Cree Gospel Singers.
Okay. And how did you get into this? You've been singing all your life?
I just been singing and playing all my life and got into writing and producing, so it's kind of, the gift kind of grew as I grew, so it was awesome.
So you grew up in the church?
Yes.
Okay. So you had that church training. You didn't go to anybody's school or anybody's class. You got that natural gift that was...
I got some training, but mostly church.
Okay.
But I do practice other genres of music.
Oh, okay.
And try to not to practice the church genre so much because I'm always there. So you want to incorporate different genres into your.
Do you have a problem? Do you have difficulty in singing other genres? I know I have a friend who has such a soulful, churchy voice that when they try to sing other genres of music, it still translates a little churchy.
No.
Do you have difficulty in translating different?
So you have to sing. So that's how you're gonna know. From a business aspect of it, because like I said, I'm a songwriter, and like I work with different artists that sing different or grew up. Because I grew up in church, so I do sing. I'm not going to, but I do. But like you can tell, like if you have the vocal training, you can kind of differentiate between sounding gospel or sounding pop R&B. But gospel and R&B is kind of interchangeable to an extent. I think it's more like the arrangement of what's behind you, right? How you're singing it, because like you want to emote the lyrics, so you can kind of convey what you're trying to say in the song. So like if you're too churchy, you probably can't do pop, but you can probably pull up R&B pretty well.
Why don't we just let him sing something?
Please. Yes, please.
What do you think?
Of your choice.
I think
You want me to sing some
we should hear
R&B
him
and
sing
some church?
something.
No, sing whatever you want to sing, please.
Okay.
What's on your heart?
What's your favorite
What's on
song?
your heart? young
What's
man?
that? Whatever comes to mind.
He sings Tsuchikobi.
No.
He doesn't.
You got a deep voice? Go ahead.
He looks like a mom.
All right, here we go. I guess I'll do some in church.
Okay.
I need thee, oh, I need thee every hour. I need thee, oh, blessed now, my Savior. I come to thee.
All right.
I know that song.
Yes.
Oh,
Well done. So you'll be singing at the Black Man Rock.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. And he's been honored with what award was it?
The best gospel group. He has a band called The Cree.
All right. Cannot wait to see you there.
Stevens and Cree.
All right. So what's next for you? What do you have planned?
Right now, the group's in the studio right now. I'm also working on building my production company called Soul Save Entertainment. So got a lot of that in the works, and just trying to get out there and on bigger stages.
Right. Well, that's good. So, are you singing? I know next week there's like the musical soul food thing. Are you going to be there?
No,
In Chesapeake Park, I think.
I'm not gonna be there. I missed it this year.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right.
But I will be there to support my fellow artists.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Yeah. So, Jacobby, talk to us about the Summer Breeze.
Well, before I say that, you had a young lady on your show not too long ago named Melba Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an opportunity to write a song for her.
Oh, did you?
And she's in the process of signing the contract and recording it. And I had also asked this young man to write the second song, but we never could get together. So this is my first time meeting him face to face.
Oh, okay.
That's an awesome accomplishment for me.
That was me being bougie. I just want to put that out there.
I feel like she's one of my idols. So anytime a songwriter gets a chance, first of all, when you get your song on radio and you hear it on radio, that's an awesome experience. But to write for someone that you've idolized, that's
that stature, yeah.
We have to come back here and to play it for you.
Definitely. So,
But
Summer Breeze.
Summer Breeze is a fashion, music, and art festival. This is my first collaboration with the Hilton Hotel in Suffolk. It's a beautiful 4-star, the only 4-star hotel in Suffolk. And we're going to do it on the balcony and by the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be outside with vendors, a fashion show. We have 2 couture designers, Gloria Joyner Wilson. I'm sure you're familiar with her.
Mm-hmm.
And her granddaughter has her own line called Debouvier. She's only 12 years old.
Oh.
And of course, everyone knows that Gloria used to work in the fashion house with Calvin Klein.
Okay.
So she's a real couture designer. We have another young man by the name of Roshan Rhodes. He is a young designer. I'm going to let him debut his line. So what my objection for this show is to introduce some new designers, some new collections, and incorporate a couple of the fine boutiques and give some of the older and younger models an opportunity. We have a father and daughter scene. Then we're going to have a 50 and Fabulous scene. Then we're going to have the couture models, so everybody get a chance to rip the runway.
Yeah.
Have a great time. Best chess competition. We have a Michael Jackson dance competition as well as a swimwear competition and a baby competition where people can send in photos of their baby. If they have a beautiful baby, they can win a prize just for having their photos on the table.
So totally something for the whole family.
And then the featured artist would be this young lady. We also have quite a few singers on the lineup, and we're still booking for that. So if you know someone who's interested, they can hit me up at Jacobby. And our tickets for the Black Man Rock Awards are available on Eventbrite.com as well.
Or you can inbox me.
That's right.
Yeah, so I can sell a ticket, please. Please.
Well, you know the tickets are due tomorrow. But you always have
I need an extension.
Uh-huh.
I need a small extension.
That's okay.
I have a question here from Facebook Live. I'm not sure who it is addressed to. Did one of you all work at Dominion?
Power.
Dominion.
Power?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry.
King's
I
Dominion?
used to work there. No. Used to be Trader Media. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about,
Yeah,
Dominion.
that was my last
I
corporate
fill the
job.
application for that.
Negative.
Why are they hiring? Are they hiring?
Who is it? Who's
Okay.
asking, first of all?
Russ Carter.
So, what's next for you? Because let's go through everything that
answer would be
you've
yes.
done. The magazine photo. When I first met you, I was a makeup artist for your what was the S magazine?
When you first met me,
I mean, as far as professionally, I've known you back
that
then.
was my
as little boys. But,
yeah, we were. I was a member of your organization. You had a private club, and we were having it real fancy. And I said, "This guy got so many great ideas. I wonder if he can do this." Well, my first magazine, that was the first magazine that I owned. That was my own publication. But prior to that, I wrote for 2 magazines.
Okay.
I wrote for a magazine called Urban Life magazine. Then I wrote for a magazine prior to that where I put Uncle Luke in the magazine. You ever heard of Uncle Luke, Public Enemy? He was in there. Nicole Ray, I used to manage her as a model.
I loved her songs.
Yeah, and so I put her in there, kind of picked her up where she was lagging in areas that wasn't related to music, like modeling. I had a clothing line. She was my celebrity model for my clothing line, as well as I had Corey Alexander, who was a basketball player for the Denver Nuggets. He was my other celebrity. So yeah. But when I met you, you did a fabulous job coming to the hotel. You did so many girls with your partner, and I did a couple of people. I mean, the magazine came out great. I even gave you an opportunity to publish your own 2 pages as an article, and gave you an opportunity to be a published writer as well.
Yes. And you've also done playwriting?
Yeah, I've written and produced and published and performed 8 stage plays, originals, and my most popular one is called Four Sisters from the South. I was in production to do a play called Girls in the Hood. I originally wrote for the comedian Herman Hurstone. He did it 2 years in a row. I haven't had him on the stage with me in a while, but we were going to do it. But with all of the other things, we kind of put it on hold. I'll be doing that. I was working on a play with my church. We put that on hold, but my church is doing an event now called Hampton Roads Got Talent. So
that's gonna be a play?
That'll be fun.
No, it's a show. It's a talent
show.
Like America's Got Talent. We're gonna be doing that at my church. That's Oak Grove Baptist Church in South Virginia.
I want to be a judge.
So if anybody, you want to be a judge? Great.
Can I be a judge too?
Yeah, of course. Well, I don't have the last say, but I could put you up for the judge.
That's cool.
That's
cool. I'll audition. It's all right.
I'm just a judge on this. But we're giving away $1,000 to the first prize, $500 to the second, and I don't know how much to the third. But we have a really big church. But we're actually going to do that event at the Suffolk Cultural Arts Center. That's a beautiful. If nobody has ever seen that, waterfalls in the front, it's fabulous.
Okay, well I'll sing, but just the first verse in the hook.
Well,
just the first word. If you can just do the first word for us, that would be good.
I can do the first word, but like
first half a word, that would be good.
This dude, but because I'm intimidated. Y'all good. I just write. I don't sing. But it's like. You broke my heart, but I promise myself that I won't let you do it again. But when we're apart, I feel like your arms are my prescription medicine. And I know that I shouldn't feel for you the way I do, but I just can't help it. I know I'll regret it, but some hidden feelings that are deep inside keep coming back, and I just cannot fight, and I don't wanna fight. I've tried ignoring you, but it's only hurting me. Instead of letting go, I still hold on to the belief if you follow your heart, it will see you through. But I don't understand, my heart keeps leading me back to you.
That was good.
I did write it.
Oh my God.
Oh, you got skills.
That is Kenny Lattimore's first cousin, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I sing that?
Yes. I was singing you all the straight up. Of course you can sing it.
Okay, we're not going to do it today though. But we're gonna get you to go ahead and close this out because we're gonna go over time. But that was good, Donnell.
Thank you.
I'm beyond shocked.
I told you I was a songwriter, weirdo.
You didn't say singing though.
I don't sing.
He says he doesn't.
No, you
sing,
sing.
but
You can sing. Yes,
he does.
She's gonna take us out. We want to thank everybody. We don't have an outro, so she's going to be our outro for tonight. Yes. Thank everyone for tuning in. Yes, this is Shanee. Shanee Dawkins, looking every bit of 22 years old. She's going to take us out with a little bit of Beyonce.
Yes.
We want to thank also Jacobby and Joe Stevens. We'll see you at the Black Man's Rock. Chris Hawkins and this one right here, Mr. Donnell Lattimore. And Nikki
I can
Curry.
see the stars all the way from here. Can't you see the glow on the window pane? I can feel the sun whenever you're near. Every time you touch me, I just melt away. Now everybody asks me why I'm smiling out from ear to ear. But I know nothing's perfect, but it's working after fighting through my tears. Finally, you put me first. Baby, it's you. You're the one I love. You're the one I need. You're the only one I see. Come on, baby, it's you. You're the one that gets your all. You're the one I can call when I need to make everything stop. Finally, you put my love on top.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for coming. You're going to be singing. No, you're not going to be singing at Are you sure she can't sing?
This is.
I'll give up my speech. She could take my speech.
No. Black men rock. We not our spotlight. She can catch her.
Well, I'll see you at the Summer Breeze.
Yes, you
At the
will.
Summer Breeze.
Summer Breeze.
Thank y'all for coming in. Everybody, thank y'all for watching, listening, and on YouTube. Thank you for guys for participating in the show tonight. We'll see you next week. God bless.
I have a token for you.
Oh.
I was gonna get.
They got almonds.
I was gonna get you